Hi, I'm Daisha Donner. I'm the director of Apple Blossom Community School. We're located at Rail River Folk School here in Bemidji, and we're growing into a very small nonprofit private school. Before that, I have had experience in the childcare field for almost 15 years, and I'm here today with you through Peacemakers Resources, and I'm happy to share some of my tips and hints from all my years of experience and the Waldorf teacher training that I've been taking in Portland, Oregon for many years, and greatly influences my care and teaching of young children. So in the first video we talked about rhythm and setting up a rhythm of the day, and in the second video we talked about some self-care, and in the third video we covered transitions. In this video, I would like to talk about setting up a peaceful environment and things that you can do that help make a nice, warm, nurturing atmosphere. Many of those things you already do, but I hope I have some new hints to help you today. I, of course, forgot a couple of the transition tips that I wanted to share, and so I'm going to start with just following up a little bit with that, because I wanted to show you how puppetry can also be used to help with transitions and to avoid power struggles. So one of my favorite puppets is Buzzy Bee. This is my Buzzy Bee, and Buzzy Bee lives in my pocket and tells us what the weather is like and what we will need to wear to go outside. Buzzy Bee will let us know if we need to wear a coat or rain boots or snow pants, and sometimes just hearing it from a puppet rather than from you can get the kids excited and motivated and avoid those sometimes power struggles in your day. So Buzzy Bee lives in my pocket, and before we get ready to go out, Buzzy will say buzz buzz buzz, and I pull Buzzy out and bring Buzzy up to my ear, and Buzzy says something to me, buzz 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 buzz. And I say, oh yes, Buzzy, you're right, it is raining. And Buzzy says something again, buzz, buzz, buzz. And I say, oh yes, yes, we will. We'll make sure and wear our rain boots today. I will let the kids know. And that's how Buzzy the Bee works. And then another puppet that I've used is the Waking Fairy. And she's a homemade puppet made by a friend. And she never did get wings, but the kids don't seem to notice or mind. She's a marionette, and at the end of rest time, she comes around and taps the kids gently on the head, the ones that are laying quietly with calm bodies. So even if their rest time wasn't very restful, I can sometimes get a couple of minutes of rest out of them just by letting them know that the Waking Fairy is on her way, and she will wake kids who are laying calmly on their rest mats. And so that's how I have used the Waking Fairy. And Grandmother Garden. I made Grandmother Garden at a Waldorf training. And she is a rod puppet. And she typically sleeps all winter. So they might meet her in the fall, and I've used her to introduce a story or circle time or help them get settled in for a story. And in the springtime, when the kids are feeling a little bit more restless, it has been really helpful to pull her out. She usually yawns, oh, and then notices that the kids are there and says, oh my dear friends, it has been so long since I have seen you. And she'll wave at the kids, and then she will help direct them to sit with their calm bodies and get ready to hear the story by saying something like, now I hear that your teacher Daisha has a story to tell today. So when you are ready, let's put our hands in our laps and have our listening ears on. And oh, I think I'm getting sleepy again. I will go have a nap and you enjoy your story. Something like that. And then the kids are ready to hear the story. And I just tuck Grandmother Garden back in. So that's how you can use some puppetry to help with those transition times as well. And then I had also forgotten a little song that I thought might be helpful for putting winter gear on, or winter mittens especially. It's a mitten song. And so as I'm putting the mittens on the child, I just sing, thumbs in the thumb place, fingers all together. This is the song we sing in mitten weather. And I just keep singing that part of the song over and over while I'm getting all their little hands into their mittens. And that helps keep me calm, if nothing else. And I just recommend to parents to bring mittens rather than gloves, which are even more tricky to get on little fingers. So, and plus mittens keep them warmer. So I just wanted to share those couple of things about transitions, and then we'll move on to creating a peaceful environment. And how do you provide an atmosphere of love and warmth? Mostly it is just by you being you and showing that you care and taking the time to connect and engage with each child every day, getting down on their level and looking them in the eye, and forming those bonds and healthy attachments with the children in your care. That is most of what goes into creating that nurturing, warm feeling that the kids get when they get there. It's you. It's all about you. So you have to be ready to greet them, and you have to make those connections with each and every child. Of course, you need to take care of yourself, and you still need to have those gentle boundaries and limits. But the more that you can look at behavior as a way that the child is showing you what he or she needs, the better that you will connect, and the less that you will feel your own stress level rising. When we can think of behavior as showing us that there's a need, an underlying need, and try to get at that need. And again, of course, you have to set some limits, and of course, some behavior is not acceptable, but remembering to try to teach what is the acceptable choice or what is the acceptable behavior, because they are young and that's the way that they're showing you if they need something. So we have a peace corner. When I was doing Apple Blossom Childcare, we had like a gauzy piece of material hanging down from a corner, and then some soft cushions and a little basket of peace tools, we called them. We had a finger labyrinth, and Peacemakers Resources has made some of these items available. A shaker jar with the glitter in it, so when you turn it upside down you can see all the glitter float down. And some little manipulatives, little puzzles that they can work with in their hands. A soft toy or a soft doll or a soft animal can sometimes be good to have in there. Something that's weighted, and I will show you a weighted baby doll that I made at one of my trainings. And the Waldorf toys are often homemade, and you could easily make homemade toys too. That might help with budget, and then it also helps the children learn how to care for items in a little different way and know that that item was made by someone special in their life, which is you. So if you knit or crochet or sew, this could be a nice way to bring some homemade items into your childcare setting. This is Orange Blossom, and he is a little weighted baby doll, and the kids like to just wrap him up, and he could be in the peace corner, or sometimes I use Orange Blossom to help a child during a story or a circle time to just feel settled and have that extra weight on their lap. So the peace corner, you want to avoid having it feel like it's a punishment. We do not use timeouts. There's been a lot of research about timeouts now, and that the child will often just sit there and get more upset or angry. So using a peace corner type philosophy is actually more beneficial to children to help them learn to find a way to calm themselves. So using a really neutral tone of voice, if a child is really upset, I just say something like, "Oh, I wonder if you would like to take a moment to use one of the peace tools, and welcome to the Peace Corner. Here's the Peace Corner." You can tell or show the kids how to use it, and hopefully the idea is that they will go there on their own eventually as they get older. And so when they're young, sometimes I have to just gently take them to the Peace Corner too and say, "Here, why don't you take a moment right here with this soft cushion," and I'll hand them the basket, or sometimes just hand them an item that I know that they like, and let them have a moment to calm themselves. And in my next video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about child guidance, so we can get into a few more hints about that in the next video. But helping them take some deep breaths, Peacemaker's Resources again has lots of good child meditation and deep breathing techniques that you can use with kids. So what are some other ways that we can create that calm, nurturing, peaceful environment? My hints are to think simplicity and soften. So soften and simplify. Soft colors, neutral colors that are easy on the eye, that are warm and pleasing. Too many toys can be overwhelming and overstimulating. I know we have to meet licensing standards, but try to think through how many of something you do have, and are they open-ended? This is a great time to go through the toys and make sure that what you're offering the children are open-ended toys that the kids are able to create what they want with them and play with them in a variety of ways and use their own imagination. So if you have toys that are battery operated and light up and make sounds and things like that, those kinds of toys can actually get a bit overwhelming especially if there's too many of them. So getting outside as much as possible and bringing nature in to the childcare in general creates that nurturing and warm environment. So many of you probably already do some gardening with kids, or plant seedlings in the windowsill, set a vase of fresh flowers, or pick some wildflowers to put in the middle of your table. Those kinds of things are always great for kids. You can have a nature display table where the kids can put their nature treasures, or if you take them on a nature hike or a walk, they can set their treasures on the nature display table. Softening the look with tablecloths and play cloths and giving them plenty of opportunities for that open-ended play. I just collected a bunch of tablecloths from the dollar section of Target, and we also have a basket of silks, and I dyed these myself. I bought them on Dharma Trading and used Kool-Aid to cut down on the expense. And so the kids use these for anything and everything. They use them for little tablecloths in their playhouse area. They use them to dress up with. They make skirts and capes and belts and hats. And if dyeing silks isn't something that you want to take on right now, you can also try at thrift stores when they open again. Maybe you already have some, just the fashion scarves. Kids do the same kind of idea with fashion scarves, so just giving them a basket of scarves. It keeps that play really open-ended. I also wanted to mention making sure to have multicultural dolls and toys so that you're representing all the kids in your care, and not only the kids in your care, but representing all people in the world and all different skin tones. And I showed you my doll Orange Blossom, and then I also have a couple dolls behind me that I made too. I made a corn husk doll, and I made this faceless doll at a training or a class at Leech Lake Tribal College, and this is buffalo hide and then horsehair. And so It's just so important to make sure that you are representing all people. Everyday items are great and a great way for kids to learn hands-on. So lots of the things that you do in the kitchen, you can be doing right with the kids. You probably already do these things. But there's nut grinders. Again, thrift stores or antique stores are good for some of these items. Butter maker, this is a little more modern version. You can also just use a mason jar and put heavy whipping cream in, and then we sing a song and pass the jar around the circle until it turns into butter. Heavy whipping cream and salt, and then you just keep shaking it. We also like to do the apples, peeler and core. This is a great activity outside in the fall when it's still nice enough at the picnic table. And flour sifters, I know we don't have to use them anymore, but again, you know, the kids are getting to manipulate things and be hands-on. So anything in the kitchen and anything that you can have them be involved with that are just part of the everyday life, the better. Hammer and nails, or you could do golf tees and a wooden mallet, maybe pounding into a tub of Play-Doh. And play is just so important for young kids. That is how they learn, and more research is backing that up. So we want kids to be able to play and learn those social emotional skills through play, and also all the hands-on and the fine motor and the large motor that is happening when they are allowed to play in a free play type situation and be imaginative. A lot of brain development is happening. I also wanted to mention that you can set up inviting play spaces, sometimes based on stories that you've told, and sometimes you can bring in nature items and set it up in an imaginative way and just watch what the kids do with that little play space or that invitation to play. More information about setting up your environment is available at the Lifeways North America website, and that is lifewaysnorthamerica.org. And there's also some great blogs. Tinkergarten has a great blog, and there are a lot of topics around play, open-ended toys, simplifying, and setting up play spaces was one of their more recent blog posts. So I hope that you find some of these hints helpful, and I'll see you in my last video for some tips on child guidance, and we'll talk a little bit about infant and toddler care as well. Thanks for listening.